Opel Astra J 2009-2015 years of release. Good day. If you are wondering is it worth buying an Opel Astra J and what problems you may encounter during operation, then you're at the right place. So the jokes that, having listened well, you can hear how Opel is rotting are in the distant past. For the Astra J, if the car hasn't been beat, the corrosive issue is not relevant. Only the owners of the Astra J of the first years of production had to worry a little. The paint from these cars peeled off almost in pieces. To its credit, Opel should say that it responded to the identified shortcomings quite adequately. Official dealers repainted problem cars without any problems. Subsequently, the body painting technology itself was also finalized, after which the problem disappeared. However, the Astra J paintwork is still not durable. Inspecting your favorite copy, be sure to climb under the bottom. The exhaust system on the Astra J is often rusty, which can be a bargaining chip. Shabby buttons, levers and seated seats in the case of a used Astra J should not be afraid. They're not talking about the huge mileage of the car at all. As a rule, the salon loses its initial attractiveness and begins to look tired by the time it has driven 50-60,000 kilometers. This, however, is not the main problem. Electrics and electronics are the weakest points of the Astra J. The whims of the central lock control unit and the standard alarm system, the air conditioning control unit and the brake system control unit are not uncommon. Usually electronic glitches begin after moisture gets into the electronic unit located under the central air duct in the area of the feet of the front passenger. There are several reasons why water ends up where it shouldn't be. The simplest flows through the cabin air intake from the trapezium of the wipers. Another option is due to the specific location and not the most successful shape of the drain pipe of the heat exchanger of the air conditioning system. The range of powertrains available for the Astra J is very wide. The rarest examples in our area are with diesel engines. It's hardly possible to find in the secondary market a charged version of the OPC with a 2-liter petrol turbo engine with a capacity of 280 horsepower. There is no point in looking closely at the specimen with a base naturally aspirated 1.4-liter gasoline engine either. For the not small Astra J, this engine is too weak. A 115 horsepower 1.6-liter gasoline engine can be considered ideal in terms of the ratio of dynamics and efficiency. In addition, this power unit looks the most advantageous from the point of view of its resource. Before major overhaul, it can withstand about 300,000 kilometers. The 1.6-liter engine is praised both for its reliable time-and-belt drive and for simple hydraulic support washers in the valve mechanism. One of the problems is an unreliable thermostat with a plastic case which fails in the range from 60 to 100,000 kilometers. Most owners swap it out for a similar aluminum piece from the sister Chevrolet Cruze. Also, owners of Astra J with a 1.6-liter engine should carefully monitor the cleanliness of the throttle valve and the absence of leaks from under the valve cover. The latter can damage the coils in the candle wells. It's advisable to change the candles themselves together with the oil. This will avoid problems with a single ignition module. Versions with a 1.4 turbo engine are also widely represented in the aftermarket. They can also be recommended for purchase. The timing chain drive can withstand 130-150,000 kilometers, and the turbine with regular oil changes can withstand 200,000 kilometers. The weak points of the 1.4 turbo engine are the same thermostat that fails when the mileage is 60 and 80,000 kilometers, the mass airflow sensor, the clutch for turning on the air conditioning compressor. On cars manufactured before 2011, the sudden failure of the crankcase ventilation valve, which is necessary in order to shut off the communication with the turbine, may upset. The valve will have to be changed along with the intake manifold, which is quite expensive. In addition, the owner of a turbocharged 1.4-liter Astra J should remember that an attempt to wash the engine compartment may not be beneficial but harm. The turbo engine control unit is located poorly, which is why it fails after the short. Moreover, this doesn't happen immediately after the end of the water procedures, but only after a few days. About 10-15% of the Astra J put up for sale falls on the version with a 1.6-liter turbo engine. It's not recommended to buy such a car. Guaranteed problems with the cooling system threaten with serious troubles with the cylinder piston group. In the worst case, everything can end in a heat wedge, in the best in badass. In 2012, a new turbo engine of the same volume began to be installed on the Astra J. Cooling problems in it were largely solved, but other weak points appeared. One of them is the early failure of the injectors and the fuel pump. Replacing the timing belt with a chain was also not the best solution. Fortunately, unlike Volkswagen TSI engines, chain hopping with subsequent expensive repairs on this engine is extremely rare. A manual transmission is combined with atmospheric engines. Its main problem is the failure of the bushings and rods of the shift drive after 100,000 km, which deteriorates the clarity of the gear shift. Also, the mechanic suffers from leaking seals and weak bearings of the output shaft. There are also complaints about the main gear. It doesn't like sleeping, not towing a trailer or aggressive driving. The M32 mechanics with 6 steps, which was installed on the turbocharged versions, turned out to be much more successful. Only the secondary shaft bearings, which do not like heavy loads, can fail in it. At the other extreme in terms of reliability is the 6-speed automatic of the 6T series. The box was updated and refined almost every year, so if you're looking for exclusively 2-pedal Astra J, then choose from the most recent cars produced after 2015. Only in this case you can be sure that the automatic transmission will not cause serious problems, at least for some time. However, the machine in any case will hold out no more than 200,000 kilometers. This is not bad yet, since the resource of an automatic transmission on cars produced from 2009 to 2013 barely exceeded 100,000 kilometers. The situation was aggravated by the fact that the first released Astra J didn't have a box cooling radiator. If the owner didn't install the radiator on his own, the box sooner or later overheated. In the suspension, the shock absorbers are the first to fail. They're enough for only 50–60,000 kilometers. The rest of the suspension elements serve from 100 to 120,000 kilometers. The replacement includes silent blocks, stabilized struts, steering tips and rods, thrust bearings and wheel bearings. Of course, the consumables of the Opel Astra J suspension are inexpensive, but since they fail in a short mileage interval, you will have to seriously spend money on replacing them. In addition, it's worth remembering that the front suspension design of the 3-door hatchback is different from that of the 5-door hatchback sedan and station wagon. But this doesn't affect reliability in any way. The steering rack on the Astra J serves an average of 150,000 kilometers. This is true for any of the 3 options for mechanism. The most affordable versions were equipped with a classic hydraulic booster, which, as expected, turned out to be the most reliable, unless the reliability of the pump here leaves much to be desired. It serves only 80,000 kilometers. You can extend its service life. To do this, after 50,000 kilometers, you will have to replace the working fluid. Unfortunately, calling the Opel Astra J a model of reliability will not work even at a stretch, but if you want this particular model, then you should look for a car produced in 2014–2015. There are enough such copies in the secondary market, since the official dealers of Opel, having learned about the departure of General Motors from our market, were forced to sell Astra J at discounts. The buyers, of course, were the only ones who needed it. Look for a version with a 1.6-liter naturally aspirated engine and the manual transmission. It's even better if the mileage of the selected car does not exceed 50–60,000 kilometers. In this case, the next 50–60,000 kilometers can be traveled without serious financial costs. If you are the owner, then be sure to leave a comment about this car. Your review will definitely help others with the choice of a car.